A special court in Lucknow will pronounce the judgment on the Babri Masjid demolition case in just a short while from now. The ruling will seal the fate of the 32 accused in the demolition case. Among the accused are senior leaders of the BJP LK Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi and Uma Bharti. The court has ordered all the accused to be present in court during the judgment. On the 1st of September, the court recorded the statements of all the accused in the case. Earlier, the Supreme Court had extended the deadline for judgment from August 31st to the 30th of September. The ruling comes nearly 28 years after the mosque was demolished by a Hindu mob in Ayodhya. In November last year, the Supreme Court had settled the land dispute by permitting Hindu groups to build a Ram temple at the site. In its judgment, the court had referred to the demolition as illegal. Two of the accused, Uma Bharti and Kalyan Singh, have been diagnosed with COVID-19, so it is unlikely that they will be in court for the judgment. The Central Bureau of Investigation has produced a total of 351 witnesses and 600 documents in the ongoing trial. Ahead of the verdict, state governments have been told to set up security in communally sensitive districts. So any moment now, a special CBI judge will deliver his verdict in the Babri Masjid demolition case. It comes 28 years after the 16th century structure was razed by a mob in Uttar Pradesh's Ayodhya town. Now joining us on this broadcast is WION's political editor Kartikeya Sharma. Kartikeya, what does this mean for those accused? What's the likely judgment going to be?
See, we have to understand that this case has protracted, taken a long time. For example, the case took more than 15 years to finalize framing of the charges. This is a case about the demolition of Babri Mosque, which was located in Ayodhya. Now, what has happened is that the judgment on Babri Masjid, or whether Ram temple should be built where once Babri Masjid existed, has already come. And the judgment given by the Supreme Court of India was very, very clear. The judgment said that because it's a matter of faith and people believe that the Lord Ram was born there, this land should be allocated to the NGO which is looking after that area, which is called Sanctum Sanctorum, where there was a makeshift temple. And the temple, the whole mechanism to build a temple and develop into a larger park as a theme park on the life of Lord Ramayan is already in motion. It has been kicked into motion. It is being built. Now, another piece of land has already been allocated for a mosque which is yet to be built. Now, the judgment also categorically said that the demolition was illegal. So, this case is about the act of demolition, because the demolition which took place, it involved thousands of people. There were leaders also present there. So, the corroboration has to be done, one. Secondly, it involves former Deputy Prime Minister of this country. It also involves former Union HRD Minister of this country. There are a couple of other Union Ministers who have retired from politics. You have certain people named in the charge sheet, then later suspended because they have passed away. They were senior functionaries of RSS. So, I would say that the bigger picture is, now the temple is going to be a reality. The verdict came with the fact that the feeling of the majority should be respected, but the demolition itself is illegal.
So essentially, Kartikeya, this does not change much on the ground, really, in Ayodhya, does it?
It doesn't change much on the ground. The temple will be built. The argument of the temple has been derived from the logic of faith, that the faith and the belief of the people should be respected, one. And second, there is certain uniqueness to the Hindu religion in which the faith and the birthplace, they are interlinked, which is unlike Islam and other religions. So in Islam, birthplace and the place of worship, they are not interlinked. But in Hinduism, in the context of Lord Ram, it's completely interlinked. So that was the argument taken by the Supreme Court. But in this case, it is about the act of demolition which took place. And demolition which was recorded on camera, demolition which was recorded by various newspapers, there's a record of the demolition. Now the whole argument, or the whole, I would say, the impact of the case would be in case people, the big names which are there, if they are held responsible for the demolition of the mosque, then I think the debate will become bigger. Nothing will happen to the temple building process, Shobhit, but then it is also going to open up a debate on those people who dominated Indian politics in 1980s, in 1990s, and early 2000 till their government was there. So it will raise a lot of ethical and moral questions in Indian politics. That one judgment has come, it has allowed a temple to come in that place, but the process with which the building was brought down and the sort of time which the case took to build itself, in itself has raised a lot of questions.
Absolutely, Karthikeya. Thank you so much for getting us all the updates. And any moment now, like we mentioned, the verdict will be out, and we'll come back to you, Karthikeya, for all the updates once the judgment is out.